Now, hundreds of people have been getting in touch about that violence in Southport, and indeed our proposition on the show today to have a national knife crime emergency. Let's read out a few of your comments now on Southport. Paul says this: with rioting incited by misinformation on social media becoming commonplace, perhaps it's now time to review the laws that protect under 18s identity. Paul, I think that's a really valid point and one we should explore on future episodes of the show. If the Labour Party think that people are responsible enough to have the vote at age 16, perhaps they're responsible enough to take control and accountability for their actions, criminality, when they are 16. And on the same topic, moving on, chaos erupted in Southend-on-Sea yesterday evening with a vicious machete fight, forcing police to issue an urgent dispersal order in the area for people to stay away. As you can see from these horrific images on your screens, masked men brandishing huge knives and machetes attacked each other in broad daylight opposite a children's fun fair in the background, in the open. And Essex police have confirmed that 8 people have been arrested so far. Today's big question: is it time to call for a national emergency on knife crime? And joining me now is anti-knife crime campaigner Matt. Matt, we've had you on the show before. You talk such passionate common sense. I wanted to get you back on again. We had Norman Brennan in the last hour, the director of the Law and Order Foundation. He thinks it's time for zero tolerance. He thinks it's time for mandatory jail sentences. As somebody with a much more of an understanding of the community, you work as a doorman. I know you deal with these kind of incidents in your day in, day out life. Sadly, it's a part of the backdrop now of modern Britain. Is that kind of approach, Matt, going to work? A hard-handed approach, or does something else you think need to be done?
Yeah, I feel like there needs to be a hard-handed approach. This is Southend. You know, people go there, little kids go there. I've been to Southend many times. People just go there. They want to enjoy, you know, the sun. We barely ever get sun, you know, in the UK. And when we do get sun, you know, we just want to enjoy it in peace. We don't want to, you know, have a war zone going on by the rides. People are literally on the roller coaster, and you have guys literally swinging machetes like it's a battlefield. You know, there needs to be a zero tolerance policy in regards to this, because I believe that there's just zero respect for the law. And what makes it even worse is if they're under 18, they understand that, you know, they understand that they're protected by the law, you know, if they're under 18. So we just see absolute no respect for the law, and, you know, something needs to be done, because it's just getting out of hand now. You know, before it used to be gang members doing this in an alley. Now it's just in broad daylight, during the day, by Southend-on-Sea Beach. Kids are there. Kids don't need to see this. There's some people who will never come back to Southend after seeing this. Something needs to be done, and something needs to be done ASAP.
And do you think, Matt, we have a cultural issue with knife crime, especially machetes? Undeniably, disturbingly so. It seems to be ostensibly a lot of young black lads carrying these weapons. Why? What's going on?
I think this is a issue of, yes, the music has a lot to do with it, the culture and what is glorified in the black community, but I also believe that the parents and guardians must take accountability as well. These kids are coming from some household, so how are these kids so comfortable and how are they so enabled in public to just be behaving like this? The parents and guardians, they need to step up. You know, if you saw your son doing this, whoever's watching this, if you saw your son doing this, you need to speak with your son. You know, this is unacceptable. Don't wait until he dies by a rival gang member or police lock him up, and then you'll then say, oh no, Black Lives Matter. Forget that. You know, we need accountability, and we need it now. Since the law's not working, and unfortunately we have a woke Labour government in power now, so I doubt things are going to get better with the woke Labour government. You know, the parents and the guardians need to step up, and they need to step up ASAP, because this is unacceptable and people are just afraid to go out in general. So yeah.
But Matt, what about when the parents and guardians aren't around? We see so many fragmented families these days. We see at that time, if we don't have a strong father figure, in particular in households, being that kind of backbone of discipline, then young men look for father figures in other ways, in other spaces, and those father figures can manipulate them. They can be gang leaders, they can offer them shortcuts to wealth, they can offer them quick fixes in terms of not bothering with school and education. It's not the state's job, is it, to be father figures to feral youths?
Absolutely not. I would actually also like talk about black celebrities to come in and actually have a voice and say something, because as I've just seen, there was a popular Netflix series called Supercell, and he's a guy who started off in, I don't know if it was South London, and he made it to the Netflix space. You know, so we need more influential people, more celebrities in the black community to come and talk with the youth. Be that father figure for them. Don't let it be the gang. Don't let it be the rap music. Don't let it be the drill music. Don't let it be someone else, because it can be destructive. You know, we need some of our celebrities to come down and speak with the youth. Don't come and speak to the youth when it's BLM and you just want to come and just be woke. We're done with that. Speak to the youth now before it gets to that stage.
Do you think the problem, though, and I speak to so many anti-knife campaigners from the black community on this show, and they tell me something which just chills me to the bone, and that is being stabbed is like a badge of honour. Going to prison is a badge of honour. Surviving is a badge of honour. They would rather take the risk of carrying a knife and going to prison than not carrying a knife and going into a grave. Are we really at the point where it seems any kind of intervention just isn't going to have an impact?
Well, look, this issue's been going on for many, many decades. It's been just going crazy. But we can't give up. Something needs to be done. If not, then we don't want to get to a state of anarchy. We don't want to get to a state where the youth are literally just, you know, killing themselves in public with no remorse. We're close to that stage right now. And I'll say something can still be done. And we can't give up just yet with the youth. I feel like there still needs to be intervention, but not so much from the government. I'm looking at the black community to come in and step in now and be a voice for these youth and actually get them, you know, get them to see common sense, because, come on, this just isn't on, honestly.
Well, Matt, you know, it's always an inspiration. It's a pleasure to have you on. Please come back on more often, because I think if we have more voices like you, we might have a chance of reaching these people who just seem destined, sadly, to end up facing a life of criminality. Anti-knife campaigner Matt, thank you very much. It's always an absolute delight to have you on the show. Well done, mate.